Hi everyone, I'm Karima Devine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you by our 12 News journalists. On today's show, despite health challenges, a mom of 11 graduates with her master's degree and a school where children with disabilities learn their independence. But first, a mom and son with nowhere to go finds help and sanctuary in downtown Phoenix.
Gonna slide that one. Woo! Big boy.
From the playground
Careful.
to his playroom, Jo Evelyn Edwards and her 5-year-old son Jeremiah make the most of every moment together.
I was in a tunnel.
I feel like I'm in the right spot, right time.
But the road to get here wasn't easy.
I was trying to just figure it out on my own, not to go back to Chicago where the danger zone at.
Jo Evelyn and Jeremiah moved to Phoenix from Chicago, but resources unexpectedly fell through and she was stuck with nowhere to go.
It wasn't so easy just trying to get in a shelter just to start over,
Until she met Pastor Cleo Lewis.
If it wasn't Pastor Cleo, I wouldn't be here today.
I got a phone call about a family that was in crisis.
These phone calls aren't unusual for Lewis, an outreach pastor and the vice chairman of Central Arizona Shelter Services, or CAS.
He told me, well, hey, there's a mother with a child, and I think she's really in crisis.
Luckily, there was an opening at Vista Colina.
It's another one of the gyms.
CAS's Vista Colina family shelter consists of more than 30 apartments with a food pantry and clothing closet on site.
When I first came in, I was amazed. I never saw a shelter like this.
Families can live here for up to 6 months while they work to achieve stability.
We supply so much at Vista Colina to where our clients don't have to take it for granted. Everything that they can imagine needing, we have here, or we can attach a resource to it to where we can get it to them.
Lewis says what makes this community stand out is the staff who provides individualized case management, helping each family member reach goals and guiding them towards safe, stable, and long-term housing.
What we try to do is bring those support services right here and get that started, because as they move from here, they're going to need to continue those resources.
It's the support that Jo Evelyn says she's not taking for granted.
And I'm grateful, very grateful.
The pair have only been living here for 2 months.
They took a deep breath, and now they're exhaling.
But Lewis says he's already seen a significant transformation.
When a person's dignity is restored, they start to make positive choices, positive influences. I'm just so excited at what I see in her.
Chelsea Harville has twin 7-year-old daughters, and like most parents, when she shopped for swimsuits, color was never a safety consideration.
I didn't think at all about color, and I think one of my first eye-opening moments was being in a busy pool and thinking, how do I know where, it's nerve-wracking. I started doing research and realizing that it's important.
And experts say it is, because drowning rarely looks like it does in the movies.
There's not loud noises and splashing. It can happen very quickly and it can be very silent. So unfortunately, drownings can happen even when adults are around.
Lisa Zarda is the executive director of the U.S. Swim School Association. She says that's exactly why visibility matters, starting with what your child is wearing.
It's one of those things that once you know and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just surprising when seconds matter that little thing could really help.
Some of the most popular swimsuit colors make a child nearly invisible underwater within seconds.
Light blues, light pinks, whites, really any of those muted pastels are not ideal. You cannot see kids when they're under the water.
Little Flippers swim owner Laura George says blues and teals vanish into pool water. White creates glare and dark colors look like debris on the floor. The best choice?
Bright neons. You want oranges, pinks, greens, yellows, anything that's really that bright fluorescent color.
Think safety vests, traffic cones, built to be seen when seconds matter. And visibility is just one layer of protection. Experts say designate a water watcher, one adult, eyes on the water, no phone, no distractions.
Do whatever you can to make sure that whoever is in charge of watching those kids knows they are in charge of watching those kids.
And enroll your child in formal swim lessons as early as age 1, at this swim school as young as 6 months. Studies show it reduces drowning risk by up to 88%. For Chelsea, combining all three has changed how she sees every pool day.
And when they're jumping in and diving and doing cannonballs in the deep end and all the things, it's nice to be able to see easier when you're from a distance.
The right swimsuit, a designated watcher, and swim lessons. Together, they're your strongest defense this summer. In Queen Creek, Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
The city of Phoenix is anticipating serious cuts to our water supply from the Colorado River.
We are certainly at a point where the risk of unilateral federal action is very high.
It's a day they've been preparing for, and with it, more action will need to be taken.
We are not running out of water, but we will need to use our backup supplies to meet demands over the next 10 years.
Right now, the City of Phoenix Drought Management Plan is at stage 1, which focuses on educating the public on water conservation. It's a warning that water is running out, and it's worked, like homeowners getting rid of the grass in their yards and using more water-efficient appliances. But with these anticipated cuts at the federal level,
we cannot conserve our way out of the problem of this magnitude.
On Tuesday, the Water Services Department announced by the end of the year, Phoenix will likely enter stage 2 of the plan, where they will have to use backup water supplies to meet demand.
It may include things like additional conservation education, expansion of water audits, incentives, and rebates to ensure efficient use of water.
It could also bring surcharges, meaning if someone uses more water than what they are allocated, they could face additional charges for it. However, the city said they have several water projects in the works.
Phoenix is continually planning and securing additional water resources,
including SRP looking to replace Bartlett Dam on the Verde River for increased water flow, and Phoenix retreating wastewater to reach drinking water standards, doing what they can to prepare for the inevitable.
The water challenge facing Phoenix is serious, and how we respond will shape our city for many years to come.
And coming up, why an NAU researcher is serving coffee to beetles.
Heather Porter.
It's a moment years in the making for Heather Porter, walking the stage to receive her master's degree from Grand Canyon University.
I questioned the whole time. There's been lots of tears throughout this program.
Her path here was anything but straightforward. It started during her undergrad when she noticed something was off.
I was really struggling to understand things that other people are easily understanding.
Doctors diagnosed her with an autoimmune inner ear condition.
It was very isolating and scary.
Warning she could lose all of her hearing.
I had an identity crisis, I feel like. I started withdrawing from a lot of my social groups, even my family.
She eventually received a cochlear implant, a surgically implanted electronic device that sends sound signals directly to the brain. But after more than a year,
it started acting up really bad. It was causing some pains and things, and we found out it was failing.
She underwent surgery to replace it, all while continuing school and raising her family. Through it all, she leaned on this.
My kids.
All 11 of them, including 5 children the single mother adopted.
They give me so much purpose, so much reason to live.
Along the way, she found support in her faith and in the deaf community, and she kept moving forward.
We can all overcome the challenges that life puts in front of us, and not only overcome them, but become better because of them.
Now, with her degree in hand, she's sending this message.
There is hope, no matter how low life feels and how hopeless it seems right now.
I usually get an iced latte.
Among the coffee shops around NAU, microbiologist Lynn Bonomo spends most of her time at a hidden coffee shop here on the second floor of this science lab.
I like to tell myself I'm a beetle barista.
She grinds the beans and serves up a particular brew to one tiny customer.
I'm going back to previous jobs of being a Starbucks barista by making now Frappuccinos, essentially, for beetles.
Lynn and NAU researchers are conducting hundreds of tests on the berry borer. They bore into coffee beans, destroying them en masse.
To help coffee farmers.
It's a popular cause. Lynn won second place at a recent showcase of NAU research. Her friends and family,
I'm surrounded by people who are obsessed with coffee.
rooting her on.
My family growing up, my parents would go through a pot of coffee at least a day. Everyone's like, you have to save coffee, and will it lower coffee prices? And I'm like, I hope so.
The first breakthrough at NAU came when researchers identified a bacteria in the beetle's gut that allows it to eat mass amounts of caffeine.
And so we're specifically targeting that bacteria as a way to help with pest control.
Lynn and her colleagues now testing viruses found in the environment that attack the bacteria, searching for a formula that keeps the beetle from burrowing into beans by altering its gut microbiome.
I would imagine countries from, Puerto Rico to Brazil to Colombia are watching this stuff closely.
Yes, so it is a global, worldwide pest. There's many teams around the world working on the coffee berry borer, the beetle. However, we're one of the ones that's working from the inside out of the beetle. A lot of other teams are working from the outside in for a pest management strategy.
Lynn cautions if NAU identifies the right pest control, we'll all need to be patient. Getting it to pass scientific, environmental, and political muster is likely years away.
And it's a combination of all of our work that we're hoping helps with the problem.
Joe Dana, 12 News.
Four years ago, David Pickles says he was healthy, active, and had no idea his life was about to change.
I was swimming laps, I was hiking, I was in some of the best shape of my life.
What he thought was a minor illness turned into something much more.
They determined that my kidneys were in failure.
Pickles spent years navigating the transplant process, eventually getting on the list, and even securing a living donor, a friend who went through months of testing to help save his life. Through a national program, that donor gave a kidney to someone else, earning Pickle a voucher, moving him to the top of the list.
It's almost like a golden ticket from Willy Wonka.
By March of this year, he had a match, and by April, a surgery date was on the schedule. He was set to have that surgery at Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, but just 8 days before, David says everything fell apart. His doctors decided his caregiver plan, namely his wife and son pledging to take care of him post-surgery, was inadequate, and they said his A1C levels were too high to move forward.
They not only canceled it, they took me off from the active list to receive another kidney for a minimum of 90 days. And so it leaves me completely completely anonymous. No one knows that I exist. No one is looking for a kidney for me.
He disputes both reasonings for the cancellation, filing an appeal letter to Mayo, a letter they have not responded to. With limited options left here in the Valley, David is moving to the East Coast, hoping another transplant center sees his case differently.
The reasons that Mayo chose to deny me a kidney and take me off the active list are things that any other dialysis or any other transplant company or team would overlook. They're not major issues, and they're specific to Mayo. They are not the standard.
David hopes sharing his story will raise awareness and potentially make Mayo reconsider how they remove people from their kidney transplant list.
This is not a solo experience. There's many that have undergone the same problems and difficulties, but have not used their voice to try to get a better outcome.
In Phoenix, Sean Rice, 12 News.
I was a 12 Bravo. I was a combat engineer. So what I did was primarily route clearance in both Iraq and Afghanistan.
Clearing the route of improvised explosive devices, or IEDs, homemade bombs hidden in the roadsides.
It jolts the bones. Heightened alertness and having to have senses working at all time. Not only are you trying to pay attention to your route and pay attention to what you're trying to look for and be on the lookout, you also have to be aware of your surrounding areas as well to make sure that you're not falling into an ambush.
Emilio Driscoll served 10 years in the United States Army.
This here is our memorial wall. We're able to honor any veteran and their service animal that have come through our program and who are no longer with us.
Whoever's walking, your job is to keep your dog's focus on you.
A program that helps veterans with PTSD get a service dog.
491 veterans from our program, as well as rescued over 400 dogs.
Emilio works for Soldier's Best Friend, which makes that happen. He knows firsthand what these veterans are going through.
That's what really attracts me to working with veterans, is that immediate connection. that immediate sense of brotherhood and bonding. We all have experienced different things, but we all experienced the same mission.
The new mission is to get veterans back on their feet.
Every veteran loses 5 things when they leave the service. They lose their job, they lose their pay, they lose their friends, they lose their mission, and they lose their sense of purpose. So being able to work with Soldier's Best Friend, I have been able to help veterans and the organization itself to refine a new mission, right? A new sense of purpose, and more importantly, a new best friend, right? You tie those 3 together, you get the veteran back out into society, they find a job. And with that, they get pay. So being able to be a part of completing that 5 for the veteran truly hits home.
It looks like any other preschool classroom. Bright colors, art on the walls, little backpacks hanging in a row. But a few nuances come into focus. Walking sticks by the door, braille on placards, textures guiding tiny hands from one place to the next. This is the Foundation for Blind Children, where the goal isn't just learning, it's independence.
Really appreciate how much magic is happening every single day.
Because here, the biggest barrier isn't blindness, it's raising the bar on expectation by everyone else.
That is our biggest Achilles heel. Rafting the Grand Canyon is not cool for someone who's visually impaired. It's just cool.
And that starts early.
She's kind of been with FBC since she was a baby. We were able to bring her in for pre-K.
When Maeve first arrived,
well, she wasn't walking at all.
Doctors told her parents she might never.
I was told when she was 4 months old that I would not anticipate her walking, and we have proved them wrong.
Her first steps happened here.
We cried.
Yeah, huge milestone for us.
Now she's in pre-K. For Maeve's parents, the progress isn't just physical, because her vision loss will get worse. It's a mindset.
We expect a lot from Maeve. We don't want to raise her of the, just because you are special needs, we're gonna wait on you hand and foot. We want her to build her independence.
That independence is exactly what this school is designed to teach. From learning Braille, to navigating classrooms, to preparing for a future alongside sighted peers.
Start kindergarten ready to fly versus having to kind of catch up.
Which one of those do you like?
And that's the real vision for Maeve and her classmates, to not be defined by what they can't do.
The dreams, they don't change just because of the diagnosis. Now the path might change and how we get there might change, but the dreams do not.
And to prove what they can, so the rest of the world really starts to see them.
Anything anybody else can do, they can do too.
Yeah, that's right. Mayor Kate Gallego says whenever Phoenix hosts a big sporting event, Hance Park has always been welcoming to visitors. It's a place many Arizona runners are familiar with, and they want the city to cross the finish line and make this happen.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about Phoenix potentially being the host of one of running's biggest events.
Coach Laura Thweet helps many Arizona athletes train, often in Phoenix. She says having the Olympic and Paralympic marathon trials in the Valley would be quite the running start.
It could really feel like a home race. Yeah, that's definitely a plus for us on the Phoenix side of things.
If the city's bid wins the gold over St. Louis, Joel Kester with Visit Phoenix says the global event would come to town in March of 2028.
We're quickly becoming known as a global sports destination, and this is just going to be one of those things that continues to tell that story.
According to Kester, Phoenix hosting the competition would mean more than 800 athletes and 200,000 fans, generating anywhere from $17 to $32 million for the city.
These events have a larger impact than just economic impact, right? We're building memories through the events that we're bringing to Phoenix.
Mayor Kate Gallego says city leaders have let USA track and field officials know they're more than interested in hosting the event.
We let them know
It would be such a priority for us to do a great job for them.
The mayor says Phoenix has a proven track record to host an event of this magnitude.
They delivered the women's Final Four and went straight into meeting for NBA All-Star, which will be with us in 2027. I am very hopeful we'll go straight from NBA All-Star right into Olympic trials marathon.
As for what's next, we know USA Track and Field and the Olympic Committee are expected to make a final decision by June. In Phoenix, David Chazanoff, 12 News.
The Chapel of the Holy Cross sits high in the Sedona Red Rocks. Built in 1956, its architect was inspired by this nearby rock formation. Look closely. It's called Madonna and Child. Do you see it? On this day, there's something else to see. Are those men dangling off the side of this chapel?
It's not a sight that you'll see very often up here.
Do you want to start going around the corner and I'll finish the floor here?
Yeah. And this job is not something an ordinary crew could tackle. Can you imagine hanging all the way up here? The 70-year-old building, crowded with tourists from all over the world every single day, and it needs some maintenance. The walls were actually letting moisture in. Chris Criaris owns CNN Roofing.
As far as we know, since 1956, when this was built, there has been nothing done to preserve the stone on it. So they got us out here to take a look at it, and we came up with a specification to keep this for another 100 years or plus.
I've got a rope access harness. It's rated for rescue and for fall arrest.
Keith Thorne works for a company called Absalon. They specialize in doing work in places very few others can. Keith heads up the ladder and gets his team ready.
There you go.
Give me your loop. Give me that before you pull on it. Give me your loop.
They power wash the walls, and then they add a special sealant. Now, this is obviously a very specialized job. Not only do you have to be okay getting to height like this, you have to be okay working at height. So this crew, they go all over the world.
Gosh, I've been on the outside of the Bellagio in Vegas, offshore in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef, and then I've worked in Saudi Arabia.
The work is being done as the crowds file in, trying to make sure the power of the Chapel of the Holy Cross can be felt for generations to come.
For whatever reason they came here, I think they leave here changed. And it's beautiful to watch that happen.
And now we're helping preserve it.
And now we're helping preserve it, yes.
Thanks everyone for watching, and just a reminder that new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on 12+. You can also watch past episodes on the app. It's easy. All you have to do is download 12+ on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Kadiba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.